Okay, so I have the parabola drawn here that's going up. The vertex is HK. So I'm going to draw the focus, which would be, somewhere up in there. Now when I move straight up, which of these stays the same?
K.
You're wrong.
H. Oh.
H would stay the same if you move straight up. The x-coordinate would stay the same, it's the y-coordinate that's changing. In fact, how much does the y-coordinate change from here to here? C. So I'm going to write this as K plus C. It moves up C. Everybody with me? Now I'm going to come down here and draw my directrix. And since it's horizontal, it's automatically, which way? Y equals. It's y equals something. Let's see who really gets this. What would y equal in this specific K minus C? Because from the vertex you go down C, you're already at K minus C. With me so far? Okay. Just like when I was deriving the general form for a circle, I picked a point somewhere on the parabola. That could be anywhere. I could pick that point, that point, that point, that, anywhere. I'll just pick right here. And what did I label it on the circle? XY is correct. Somebody pay attention. This distance needs to equal this distance. Now my picture's not very good, is it? I should have drawn the parabola a lot fatter and the directrix a lot closer. But the definition of a parabola is this distance right here, we'll call this distance 1, is going to equal distance 2. And that's true at every single point. I think I said that on the video the other day. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a label on this point right here. What's going to go there? Somebody just mumbled X. That's right, because it just moves straight down from this point. The x-coordinate will stay the same, and the y-coordinate is K minus C. Because on this line, y equals K minus C, every single y-coordinate is K minus C. Everybody with me so far? Okay. Pause that for a second, break.
Okay.
Okay, so the definition of a parabola is that this distance has to equal this distance. Distance 1 has to equal distance 2, so I wrote it right there. Now I put them in the other order, I have a reason, you'll see at the end. Doesn't matter what order on the equal sign, right? Put them either way. Distance 2 has to equal distance 1. And now to find the distance, I'm going to use the distance formula, which involves a big square root. And another big square root. Distance formula once for this distance. So let's come over here to D2. The distance formula says subtract the x-coordinates, so it'll be x minus x. Quantity squared. Plus y minus k minus c. So it's y minus, now this is a little bit weird, k minus c. I'm going to put a parenthesis inside a parenthesis into this where it goes over the whole thing. This is just a number. K minus c is just a number. We just don't know what it is. Are we following that? Okay, now we'll go to distance 1. Distance 1 is right here. So this is going to be, whoops, thank you. That should be squared. Thank you, Ashton. Distance for me. Here I'm going to subtract this way. X minus h. So this should be x minus h, quantity squared, minus y minus, and then it's y minus k plus c. And again, I'm going to use a parenthesis inside a parenthesis. Not maybe the most mathematically correct way to do it, but that makes sense to me because this is just a number right here. Okay, any questions on what I've done so far? Minus here? Because, oh, because I didn't write a plus. That's why. Thank you.
Because it said minus.
Because the distance formula is plus, isn't it? Yep. Thank you. That would screw us up. Okay, now all I have to do is solve this algebraically, and I'll get the general form for a parabola. Ouch. Okay, what would you do first? I bet you know the answer to that. Square both sides. I don't like that big old square root. So if I square both sides, like square this side and square this side, they just go away. And also right here, what's x minus x? Nothing. So that's just 0. 0 squared is 0. So all I have left on this side is y minus k minus c, and then double parenthesis that, quantity squared. Everybody with me there? Okay? Now this side still has all this. X minus h quantity squared plus y minus k plus c all squared. A little simpler. Alright, now we're going to take a little time out over here and go to a little scratch paper. Got a second, Mallory. Alright, right in here, here's my scratch paper. I'm going to write this side out. Y minus k minus c and another y minus k minus c. Now remember, that's just a number. K minus c is just a number. And let's FOIL those. So first of all, y times y would be y squared. The snot, so to speak, would be a negative k minus c y. So everybody with me? K minus c is just a number. The drool would be a negative k minus c y. Everybody seriously see that? So when I combine the snot and drool, move y squared down a little bit, I'm going to get a negative 2 k minus c y. Combining these, one of them and one of them is 2. We get that? It's kind of complicated. And now this, when I do the last, first of all, a negative times a negative is always positive. And it's going to be a positive k minus c quantity squared. We're still okay with that? But now before I move it over there, I'm going to go ahead and FOIL this one out also. This is like 2k minus c's. So this becomes k squared minus 2ck plus c squared. Everybody with me? A minus ck there and a minus ck there. Snot and drool combined to make a minus 2ck. Now I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to write it right over here. So this is going to be y squared minus 2 k minus c y plus, and now the bottom one, k squared minus 2ck plus c squared. On this side, the x minus h quantity squared I'm not doing anything with. Now I don't think, I want to FOIL this one out also. I don't think I really need to come back over here and redo it. The only thing that's different is that's a k plus c right there. So it's going to come out exactly the same, except that's going to be a k plus c. And when I FOIL these, that's going to be a plus right there. Everybody buying that? So when I come over and write it down, it's going to be y squared minus, whoops, 2 in there, 2. Now this is going to be k plus c instead of k minus c. And then this part here is going to be plus k squared. Here's the sign that's different, plus 2ck. Dang it, I can't quite fit it in here. I'm going to put the plus c squared down here. There's a y squared on both sides. They cancel. Like I could subtract y squared from both sides. What else?
Is that a negative?
The k and c.
It's the k squared.
The 2k's are 2ck.
Hold on, c squared. Now be careful. One's negative and one's positive. Well, you know, let's do this. Let's get them on the same side. So if I take this right here, this positive 2ck, and move it over here, it would be a minus 2ck. When you move it across the equal sign, the sign changes. So that's now, I'll cross it out. It's gone over here. It's moved to this side. Back here, let's clean this up. Let's see what we got right now. We got a minus 2 k minus cy. And now I have a minus 4ck. Everybody with me here? That's everything on this side. Over here I have an x minus h quantity squared and a minus 2k plus c, and I believe that's it. Yes? Okay, I like this just how it is, and I like this just how it is. I want to get these two things right here. I'll circle them. This one and this one combined together. Whoops, I didn't copy down my y. Oh, I didn't copy my y there either. Should have been a y right there. It was this y right here. I just forgot to copy it down and I put it up. Okay. This right here, I'm going to distribute that negative 2 through and make it a negative 2k plus c plus 2c y. All of this is the coefficient of y. It's the number in front of the y. It's like the 3y or the 5y or 10y or something. Over here, this is a negative 2k minus 2c y. So when I move this to that side, it becomes a plus 2k plus 2c y. See, I changed both these signs when I moved across the equal sign. The only thing left over here is now an x minus h quantity squared. This up a tiny bit. When I combine these, minus 2k and plus 2k is gone. But here I get a 4cy. And minus 4ck, I'm just bringing that down from here, because I underlined these two and so they were fine how they are, remember? And over here I have an x minus h quantity squared. Tell me what I can do with this. Something look the same in both? 4c, that's called the common factor. I'm going to take 4c out front, we'll be left with a y minus k. And over here I'm going to have a x minus h quantity squared. And now I'm going to divide this 4c over to this side. But instead of writing the whole thing, I'm going to put a 1 over 4c in front, rather than putting 4c under the whole thing. Same thing, right? Dividing by 2, same thing, by 1 half. This is now gone. And I have now just derived the general form for a parabola going up. So if you come right over here, I'm going to put this on your card. For the parabola going up, the general form is y minus k equals, whoops, time out. Instead of writing 1 over 4c, I'm going to write the letter a. X minus h quantity squared. And then I'm going to make a note over here. A just takes the place of 1 over 4c. Okay? I'm just picking that. I've chose the letter A, and that's going to be, instead of writing that fraction every time, I'm going to let A represent that. And there's the equation for the parabola going up. Now, I wanted to go through this one time so that you can see that it actually works. But I'm not actually going to make you do all that algebra every time. Here's what I'm going to let you do. So I'm going to clear this. Back to my original picture. This is the picture of the parabola going up. Vertex, focus, directrix. Pick the xy. Get this point labeled. Distance 1 has to equal distance 2. So you'll go to your paper and you'll say distance 1 equals distance 2. Actually, I think I wrote them the other way around, didn't I, the first time? Distance 2 equals distance 1. I told you I have a reason why. The reason why is because I wanted the x minus h on the right side because I knew that's how it would come out in the general form. Then I want you to make two big square roots for distance formula. Then go to your picture. Distance 2 is x minus x squared. Plus, I'll get it right this time, Ashton. Plus y minus k minus c. Exactly the same thing we did a minute ago, right? Quantity squared. And then go to the other side, distance 1. And say x minus h quantity squared. I'm going to barely be able to fit this in here. Y minus k plus c quantity squared. And then I'm going to let you do this, and you're welcome, by the way. I'm going to let you say, then you do a whole bunch of algebra. And the answer comes out to be y minus k equals, you can either put the a in, x minus h quantity squared, but if you do put the a in, make sure you make a note that a equals 1 over 4c, or if you want to go ahead and write the 1 over 4c on there, that's fine too. And there you've just shown where the general form for a parabola comes from, a parabola going up. So I'm not going to make you do all the algebra, but I am going to make you draw the picture, have it labeled correctly, label the distances. We'll make sure you tell me that you know distance 1 has to equal distance 2. Two different distance formulas, which come right off your picture. You don't have to memorize anything. If you know the distance formula, you're good. But I'm not going to make you go through all that algebra. And that's how you derive the general forms for a parabola. Now, what do you suppose is different if the parabola would go down? Just from what you know about math. What would be different about that general form? What's that?
Before the K and the H, they'll both be pluses.
Nobody's really close. Helbing's on the right track. Has to do with the sign. The A. Yeah. So if the parabola goes down instead, it's still y minus k, but it's a negative a, x minus h quantity squared. A is still 1 over 4c. That's true in all of them. If the parabola goes to the right, do you remember what changed?
X's. X and Y. They
You
switch.
bet. The x minus h goes out there. A is positive. The y minus k goes in there. And there's the general form for a parabola going to the right. And so the obvious last one is going to the left.
X minus H, negative A.
Negative a, absolutely. Y minus k, quantity squared. And in each case, hk is your vertex every time. And in every one of these, a is 1 over 4c. Any questions? And the only one you have to derive on the test is the one going up.